That's right. So anybody who's hanging out in chat right now, make sure you stick around because you have a chance to go home with a Sacred Oils controller.
Absolutely. All right, we're off here. Looks like Pico is going to be out just a little early, so I assume we'll get these video feeds synced up here momentarily. Both players collecting the dive ball power-up, which will allow them to dive one tile deeper. We'll get our feeds synced up here, and you can tell that they're on, very similar paces here in the opener. The beginning of this game, kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say free because there's so much precision-based movement in the opening of these runs, but you see both players probably having very comparable paces here up to grabbing Iron Ball.
Yeah, world record pace to the Iron Ball is like a very high 112. But really, anything from 112 to 115, they'll be pretty happy with. So, yeah, we're not going to start to see separation until that second segment in a lot of these runs.
Right. You see Pico and Evil Elf both moving down here to this kind of, I guess you'd call it a pipe skip, kind of clip into the pipe earlier than intended. But this is going to allow them to enter the pipe maze a little bit sooner. They'll be navigating through this pipe maze. I don't think... You know what? I was about to say I don't think we've seen a mistake in the pipe maze yet during the tournament. But we see Elf take a wrong turn. He takes the scenic route through the pipe maze. That's going to set him back a little bit as he picks up the Iron Ball right around 120.
We probably think of the pipes as free, but I know I've made plenty of mistakes there. If you're not timing that input just right, it's very easy to go down the wrong way. But this is still early in the run, and we have a lot to see out of these runners, so we're certainly not calling it yet.
For sure. We'll see Pico and Elf both move here to perform the grandma jump, get in to set up this first bell death warp skip that we talked about previously. They'll be tagging a bell up here to set up a death skip down by Darkwing and the double jump power up.
We're going to see basically all of the runners go for this bell skip today, and we don't talk about it too much. But if you don't pull off this bell skip, that's costing you probably about 30 seconds over having to take the long way around. So it's very crucial, and we just kind of take it for granted.
Absolutely. Elf took another unfortunate pop there, trying to set up the Grandma's basement jump. So fall a little bit further behind. Pico, we see him grab Darkwing Duck, and he's heading down further into the abyss to go get that double jump power-up that we talked about previously. And then he'll take an intentional pop to death warp out of the bottom of the map.
All right, we see a very nice clean skip from Pico there as he gets the pop, and Elf is still approaching that screen. We'll see, it looks like Pico is going for Affleck first, so there's a chance he will go for the fall skip.
Yeah, Pico looking good so far. He's playing pretty clean.
Yeah, and Elf does accidentally ring that bell, so he does have to take the long pipe back up. We see Pico make the fall skip and do the... salmon jump as he goes in for Deadeye.
I like this from Pico. He looks good. I was interested to see
he didn't go for the demonic grandma, but that's okay. If you're not sure you're going to get it, why take a chance to save 5 seconds if it'll cost you 5 seconds?
Right. And Pico, like I said, he's been playing pretty clean so far, so maybe he feels like he's in a position where that's unnecessary. Just continue to play safe, consistent. Sure.
And it's possible, these runners, they probably practice these strats offline, and they have they do some math in their head and say, well, if I can make it X% of the time, I'll go for it. But if I can only do it, 20% of the time, it's not worth the risk.
Right. See Pico snatching up Plucky. Evil Elf going to be grabbing Scrooge and death warping. But Pico with a pretty commanding lead in this one. It would take something pretty wild to shake this one up.
Yeah, Pico needs to keep it clean. There's still a little bit of time to be lost on Ferdinand, Wildwing, and Howard. Yeah.
Elf gets Deadeye and gets the pixel perfect pop out of there, so nice little time save for him.
Yeah, that brings him back a couple of seconds. And if you're Elf, this is the first run of the day. It's still early on. You might be thinking about, what he needs to change for his second heat, since it is best out of 3 here. But you're certainly hoping to finish strong and not make any mistakes up in the clouds.
Right. Yeah, I think this is probably a little uncharacteristic for Elf. You know, it was my understanding that he's been practicing offline a little bit this week, so I think that he's probably just got a case of the nerves at the moment.
Yeah, just some first run jitters. Hopefully he gets that out of his system, and we see a closer race in the next one here. Pico
Yep.
picks up Howard and gets the pop. Really, all that's left now is to make sure that he's got all the ducks in a row. He heads for the final pipe.
Around 516.
So it'll be about a 550, which
Yep.
you know is a good time. And if this had been the first day of the tournament, that would be in contention for fastest run of the day. But everybody's really taken it up a notch, and if he wants to win that particular Sig Royals controller, he'll need to do even better in the next team.
Right. But I mean, Pico looked really good. That was very impressive to me. Finished with a nice 550 to the water.
Yeah, that was really
he
good.
He played really well. I like that we saw some new strategies out of Pico. You know, that tells me that he's been using these past few weeks to practice and adopt those strategies and get, you know, good, get consistent at them. But yeah, GG to Pico de Guile for taking down race 1.